Hello and welcome back to our channel. Ready for something new? How about trying to change industries? Today we're going to be focusing on how to pivot or change from one industry to another. Now, changing industries is always best done when the unemployment rate is very, very low. The reason for that is companies are more willing to look at individuals that are a little outside of the box when there aren't that many candidates to be had. But even in a market where unemployment is very high, there is a way to still pivot successfully. Today, we're going to cover through some strategies on how to do just that. Now, before we get started, if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you would subscribe to our channel, ring that bell for notifications so you'll know when we have upcoming videos released. And if you feel like the information on this video is helpful, please give us a thumbs up at the end of the video as it really helps our channel. All right, let's get started. Now, when you're looking to change industries or pivot, you should always start first with research. In order to be successful to pivot into a new industry, the first thing you must do is find out as much information as you possibly can about that industry. What are the industry strengths? What are their challenges? A good way to look at this is to look at the top 10 companies in an industry. What are their vision, mission, and value statements? And do those statements align with what you're looking for with your next role and your next industry? Now, when you are also looking at these top 10 companies, if they are public companies, you should be able to find information on their website about quarterly business reviews. Those are conversations that they have had with analysts about their company. In those quarterly business reviews, they're going to talk about great things like what happened over the last 3 months and where do they see projections for the next 3 months. It's a really good way to get a handle on what's going on within that industry. Another important thing for you to look at when you're doing your research is, does this industry have certain location hotspots where they have operations? Companies tend to cluster. Once you find out what those locations are you willing to live in one of those locations? Take some time to also look into an industry pay comparison. How does this industry pay in comparison with the industry that you're currently in? Now, money is not everything, but just make sure you're going into it eyes wide open. If you're moving from an industry like energy into a nonprofit, you might find the pay less, but the value of the work might be higher for you. Now, when you're doing all of this research, it is great to use the internet and look online. There's tons of information there, more than you'll ever be able to go through. But don't let it be your only source of information. Talk with individuals who are actually in that industry. Get a first-hand account of what they think the strengths and challenges are. What do they like about the industry? What's not their favorite? Take the time to talk with people and you'll get a much better look at the industry overall. Okay, so now you have some information about the industry, but how do you fit in? How do you take your current skills and pivot into that industry? Well, that's our focus next. So when you're trying to find out how you fit into the industry, here are some strategies I recommend. Find 10 larger employers in that industry. You want to look at the larger ones because they're going to have larger numbers of employees, hopefully larger job openings, and just a variety of positions in that industry. Take a look at the job opportunities they've posted. Of all of the roles that you see out there that interest you, what are the job requirements that you see across all of the job descriptions that you're looking for? Do all of them require a certain software? Do all of them require a certain level of degree? Do all of them require a certain amount of experience in a certain area? The next thing you want to do is look, does a position similar to yours already exist within that industry? If it does, great. That's going to be a much easier pivot. If it doesn't, which positions do you think it would be easiest for you to pivot into that you would enjoy? Now that you've had a chance to look at some of the positions that are open, what do you as an individual have in common that you can easily translate into one of those roles? Look not only at the hard skills that you may have, like experience doing a certain type of project management or experience doing a certain software. Look also at the soft skills. Are they looking for people that have strong detail orientation? And is that something that you've done a lot of in your past? Make a list. Here's the hard skills they want, and here's the hard skills I have. Here's the soft skills they want, and here's the soft skills I have. So what do I really mean by find ways to fill your gaps? If you are lacking key skills or experience needed for that industry, you're going to have to figure out a way to get as many of those as you possibly can. There are lots of different ways to do this. You can go back to a more formal education and schooling. You can obtain certifications, attend webinars to gain critical experience and information, listen to industry talks. I always recommend gain skills in the software or systems that industry uses. Go to industry events. Join an association. Now, while you're working on those gaps, I have another one for you that you have to work on at the same time. And that is develop a plan to market yourself into the industry. So let's talk further about developing a plan to market yourself in. While you're looking at ways to fill all of these gaps and doing different schooling and education, make sure you are updating your resume and profile to make you more attractive to the companies and recruiters hiring in that industry. All of the new things that you're doing are going to be new keywords that are going to show on your resume and profile. Now, when you're developing this plan to market yourself in, also keep in mind the best way to get a job is through someone you know. That is always going to be true. So part of your marketing plan needs to be networking. You should consider going to industry events or networking groups associated with that industry. Join a LinkedIn group that is dedicated to that industry. Be active in these different endeavors. The more you're active, the better chance you have of making connections with individuals. What you're looking for is an industry mentor. That is somebody who's been in this industry for quite a while, who's willing to take you under their wing and help you pivot into this new industry. Another great way to network is to volunteer at events where there are other people in that industry. Okay, so now that you've done this work to network, it's time to actually apply. You need to think more creative in the way that you apply. Just taking your resume or your profile and applying to job postings may not be the best path forward. Think more personal. Send personalized messages to the different individuals within that industry in the company that you're targeting. And when you're targeting a company, you should strongly consider, if you can, targeting one that is local to you. They're already going to be taking a little bit of a chance on you because you're pivoting to a new industry. They may not be as willing to offer things like relocation to someone that's pivoting in. The last thing I want to talk to you today when you're looking at changing industries is for you to be realistic. In order for you to make this change from one industry to another, you may need to take a lateral move, or for the right opportunity, even take a step backwards. You're going to have to be a little bit more strategic and think long term. Now, if you don't want to step backwards, that's okay. You're just going to have to make yourself more marketable and fill more of those gaps that you have so that the company doesn't see quite so much out of the box. You can successfully change industries and pivot into a new role. Just remember, do your research, find out how you fit in, figure out ways to fill your gaps, and then develop that marketing plan. Thanks for joining us.